A couple days ago, I released a video titled Toki is Yamato's mother, and although it didn't get many views, I'm thankful that many people were at least intrigued by it on some Discord servers. So this video is a follow-up to that theory, and now I have some more, albeit speculative, reasonings for this theory to be true. My name is Cryptic D, Athena, and this is my revision for Toki is Yamato's mother. The original evidence for this theory can be boiled down to the similar hair color between Toki and Yamato, along with my belief that Toki is the protector of the Makami fruit, which was revealed to be Yamato's devil fruit in chapter 1020. In summary, Toki was born to the Amatsuki family 830 years ago in Void Century Age Wano. The Amatsuki were a powerful family who were close to the Kozuki family and likely shared protective measures between each other. Toki grows up to at least age 26, as that's the age we meet her. She trains to become a protector of the Makami fruit, and at some point eats the Time fruit. Perhaps the Amatsuki were a family that had a hold of this fruit as well, and Toki was in line to become the next user of the Time fruit. This could explain why the Amatsuki were so powerful, but let's continue. Acquiring this power, Toki's rank increases so now that she becomes the Makami's fruit main protector, because she can now travel to whenever and wherever the fruit goes. And since the fruit's power wouldn't transfer too far from Wano, Toki could easily find it whenever she needed. Another possibility is that she has lived through several generations of different Amatsuki leaders because of her duties. From doing this job, she meets Kaido at some point and has a genuine relationship with him. But it obviously doesn't last, probably due to Toki seeing Kaido's true nature. So, Toki leaves the relationship behind and moves on with her life. However, when she goes back to her protector duties, Oroshi's grandfather would assassinate the leader of the Amatsuki family, and likely the whole Amatsuki family was wiped out here because Toki is the only known member aside from her children, of course. And it's from that assassination, Toki would time travel to the point of where she would meet Oden. 2 years later, Toki has Yamato off screen, and whether it be because of the Time fruit's effect on her body, or some other weird One Piece reasoning, cannot be explained, as Yamato's birth is off screen, eventually having Momonosuke with Oden in that same year. But of course, she cannot keep Yamato, as it might have freaked out Oden, so she has to leave the baby with Kaido. Because of their past relationship, he possibly would allow her to interact with him, and would have a conversation about who would take care of Yamato. Obviously, Kaido ends up having to take care of Yamato, and the two characters part way. Here, Toki would also potentially see that Kaido had the Makami fruit, but of course would not take it from him as she feared him. From there, everything plays out like normally. Okay, so time travel is crazy, and Toki had a bit of a thing with Kaido. But why did she leave him? Well, I believe it is because of the God Valley incident. Now we've obviously known nothing about the incident itself, but it is plausible that it affected Kaido in a terrible way. The event would explain his drinking problem and his suicidal tendencies. Toki leaving him would only heighten his depression and may have warped his mind further into holding a grudge against her. But when Toki returns with Yamato, all of that would go away only temporarily. I imagine that on some level, Kaido does generally care about Yamato, and when he saw Toki walk up with them in her arms, he may have found some level of peace. Unfortunately, this peace would only last for so long, up until Oden comes to town. Aside from Oden just outright opposing Kaido, if Kaido ever saw Toki standing with Oden and recognizing their relationship, that grudge he felt about her may have been additional fuel to the fire. And with that anger, any comments he would have made about Toki were clouded by his hatred of her. Other reasons for Kaido not acknowledging Toki comes down to him probably getting over her, or never really caring for her in the first place, or even just the pregnancy coming out of nowhere and they both didn't really know what to do. Potentially, he never saw her at all during the story, which means Toki just left Yamato at Kaido's doorsteps. She probably feared what he might do to her, or feared him for other reasons after the God Valley incident. Why Toki would leave Yamato with someone that she fears, I have no idea. It's possible that through their conversation that they might have had, they might have came to an agreement or some sort of understanding about Yamato, in that Toki would never see him again, and Yamato would just be raised by Kaido, and how Kaido wants to raise Yamato. I think that'd be a fine reasoning, but obviously it's not the best reasoning. Well, this is a very cool theory, but does any of this actually line up on the One Piece timeline? Well, I'm happy to say that it does, but since we practically know nothing about Toki's time-traveling adventures, or the Time Fruit itself, this timeline will be speculative for the most part. First, Toki was born 830 years ago in a Void Century age Wano. In at least 26 years, she trains to become the protector of the Matsuki clan's head chief, who wields the Makami fruit. In that time span, Toki also gets the Time fruit, and potentially has lived through several generations of the Yamatsuki clan, because of its ability, and if the head of the clan ever passed. Second, Toki meets Kaido at some point before the God Valley incident, and they have a relationship. After the incident, Kaido becomes depressed and too dangerous to be around for Toki, so she leaves. Once she returns to her duties as the Makami's fruit protector, however, her clan is assassinated. She manages to escape and jumps into the future, 30 years from the current timeline, where she meets Oden. Before meeting Oden, Toki gives birth to Yamato off-screen because of the effects of the Time fruit on her body. Later, she has Momonosuke. And because she didn't want to freak out Oden, she drops off Yamato on Kaido's doorsteps, also seeing that he has acquired the Makami fruit. She does not attempt to take the fruit, as he would probably kill her if she tried. From here on, the timeline goes as normal. Important note, we don't know when Kaido was born, and in that case we don't know his age. Many people speculate he's around 50 years old, and if that's the case, this theory would be potentially ruined, because that would mean at the time of the God Valley incident, Kaido would be 12. I want to point out that when we see his silhouette in the God Valley flashback, he looks like a grown adult during that time. However, characters like Oden and Pudding also look like grown adults when they were 15 and 16 respectively, so take that for what you will. And with that, the timeline is complete. Again, there are two major holes in this theory. Kaido may have been a child when Toki would have been impregnated with Yamato, and the ability to somehow magically keep the necessary genetics intact through time travel, or another weird One Piece explanation, might be unlikely. And the only comparison I have with weird pregnancies in One Piece is Ace's mom somehow keeping him in there for over 9 months. So overall, this theory is a crazy one, but will it come true? Only time will tell. I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to ask all of you to go check out my previous iteration of this theory, if you haven't already. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want, and follow my Twitter to see all my videos' artwork. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day, everyone.